games and gaming experience. These are the episodes of the Gamer's Frontier to boldly talk gaming into your ear. These are the Gamer Men.
Welcome to the Gamer Men. This is Firestorm, and now over to you, my co-host Mike.
Yes, and I'm Mike, also known as the Earth Nerd. And as you can see by the screen, on the screen, it says the Gamer Men United Kingdom, which means we're actually based in the UK. Gaming-wise, we're basically going to be a group of guys sitting down, chatting around about video games. Obviously, hence the Gamer Men title. The idea of the whole concept of the Gamer Men being that it's a chat that you would maybe have with your best mate down in the pub about video games. And that's the sort of style of webcasts that we're going to hopefully achieve. Obviously, from the shot on the screen, you can see that we're actually at thegamermen.wordpress.com at the moment. So obviously, anything that if you miss an episode, it's going to be up down there with video footage. And I believe that Kyle's going to actually tell you how he got into video gaming.
Yep, gladly. Well, I'm 25 years old, and I've been gaming for quite a while. I can't even hesitate to give you a number there. My first gaming experience really was on the Nintendo 64. Yeah, that started it all off really, and then ever since I've had all sorts of different consoles, PlayStations, and all their different variants. I've had to look into Xbox, and most of their variants have also done with the handheld games consoles, Wii's, you name it. I've had a look into it, or either have one, including the computers as well. So if you're a big PC gamer, I also know a little bit about them. Mike knows a little bit more about it as...
Well, obviously with me being about 5 years older than you, I'm bound to know a bit more.
Just a bit.
Considering I started my gaming at around about the age of 4 or 5, way back in 1986 with the Atari 2600. That was obviously released in the late 70s. The only game I can remember having was a one called Combat. Very, very sort of, I think it was a 2-bit console, and you literally had a maze, and there was a tank on one side, tank on the other, and you had to drive around the maze and try and shoot your opponent with it. It's the only game I can remember playing on that. But I actually went from that, I went up through the Spectrum, ZX Spectrum Sinclair kind of computer. Remember, many a time I used to come home from school, put a game in, let it load up, while it was loading, do my homework, have my tea, go out for a bit of play, come back in, have a 2-minute go on it, and then die. Then moved up to...
Shave, haircut, you've all got time for them.
Well, exactly. I think the only game I can remember, a couple of games I remember playing on that would be Thundercats. I used to be a big Thundercats fan, I still am. The Robocop game, and the other one was the Turtles game that came out, and what was the other one? There was another one there which has completely escaped my head. But yes, Silkworm, that was the one. My cousin used to come over. One of us would be on the joystick, the other one on the keyboard, and obviously one would be the helicopter, one would be the Jeep. Fantastic little game. It'd be absolutely amazing if that came out on the PlayStation Network and the Xbox arcade game console. Went from there, went to the Sega Master System, through that and the Nintendo NES or Famicom, if people over in Japan are listening, which, funny enough, was actually out over in the UK, and it got took off the shelves because, obviously, people weren't picking it up because they thought it was some feminine product. Then, from that, went through, obviously, the Mega Drive, the SNES, all the way through the next generation of consoles after that, the PlayStation, had a Saturn. What else was there that was in that one? Was that the one with the N64, wasn't it? And then obviously I ended up with a PlayStation 2 and an Xbox as well as a Gamecube. Sold all those, got and kept hold of the Xbox, And as that Xbox was starting to fail, I bought myself an Xbox 360 and haven't really looked back. Had a bit of a play on the PlayStation 3, but it's not really my cup of tea. I think that one's more for an entertainment side of things, with it having the Blu-ray and everything in. As far as my gaming history goes, that is where it is. So obviously, between me and Cal, we've got quite a bit of gaming history there.
One thing I have to say is I do have a slight problem. I haven't had a Gamecube. That's probably the only one that I haven't had a go on.
What was it? I was reading somewhere the other day that the GameCube is not being accepted in what? Blooming heck! Where the hell was it? Well, I would say Game Station, but that's
That's gone down the pan.
That's gone down the pan. Yes. So obviously, the GameCube is not being getting taken in. I think it was somewhere like Asda or something. Aren't taking in GameCubes or something like that. I can't remember where I seen the update, but. There's not an awful lot we can say about that, but that's basically who we are, where we've come from. There is another member of the team, Kenny. As you'll notice on the About Us section of our website, Kenny is Scottish. Considering all we have is the Scottish, and that's all we have about him at the moment. Could write a bit more, but obviously would rather it come from his mouth. Obviously. As soon as he comes in, he could be on at some point later on in the broadcast. If he is, we'll get him to introduce himself. If he's not, we'll just have to get him to pop in and on one of the next ones. Moving on, obviously, as we mentioned before about Game going down the Swanee, it's basically had its doors closed and. Gone into administration. Obviously, the other games the other start again. The brain's gone completely dead. The other stores that are part of the game group, obviously, Gameplay and Game Station. From what we've been hearing, is rumor has it that they're going to be selling off the Game Station brand and stores to try and recoup some of the money to pay off some of the debt. And there's also possibly going to be a potential buyout for Game. So it does look like it's not going to go down the Swanee completely. It's just going to be...
it's going to be more online.
Yeah.
A lot of it is going to be transferred to online. Game is completely gone now. Unfortunately, it's sad tidings indeed, because most of their shops have shut.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you where I live, obviously, but just believe me when I say I can't find one open, not even Game Station. HMV is actually having a problem now with gaming, because I believe they are related somehow.
I think it'll be down at the credit or something, because part of the reason why Game went belly up, or has gone belly up, so to speak, is they couldn't secure the credit to be able to purchase Mass Effect 3 and whatever else was coming out from EA. I personally feel that if they were given the credit for Mass Effect 3, they wouldn't have gone belly up. But obviously, the credit didn't only give you credit for so long before it goes. They have to put a stop and say that. Unfortunately, no.
I know.
I mean, there's in the area where I'm from. We talked it up not so long ago there, just before coming on air, that there's going to be around about 7 stores in my area that's going to be closing. Well, saying that, obviously by my accent, you know I'm from the northeast, and in Newcastle alone, there's 3 stores being shut. I'm not surprised, considering there's about 4 or 5 stores in Newcastle, I think. Mind you, I might be counting a couple of them twice if I've gone around in the same circle. I think that's... and obviously, Game issued a statement on Facebook saying that it's suspended the redemption of its reward cards. So if you've got a reward or a gift card from Game, unfortunately, it's not even worth the plastic that you've got in your pocket at the moment.
Should have really cashed in whilst it was going downhill.
Should have cashed in last weekend. Yeah, that's right.
You missed your opportunity, and Sorry,
Exactly.
it's blunt to you as that, but it's gone. It's just sad tidings indeed. It's gone.
That leads me on to another thing. Shop 2, shop2.net, it had to pull a promotion that offered £3 off a game if you had obviously your game reward card. Basically, the idea is so that because the game card is now defunct, there were because they're also what you would class as a gaming specialist, i.e., just dealing in video games. That basically, rather than you losing out, you would get £3 off a game, and basically, due to there's a statement on Eurogamer that says we have withdrawn the promotion mainly as customers have suggested the promotion was in bad taste, which was never our intention. Which obviously, I can say exactly why they've done that, but I think they probably did it a little bit too soon.
Nail in the coffin and a bit of an insult there.
I think it's more like a kick in the nads, but never mind.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, a game have closed 277 stores and fired. I wouldn't exactly say fired over 2,000 staff because they've not exactly fired them. They've had to go in.
It's unfortunate, but they've had to let them go. That's how
they've laid them off, but they've not been able to give them any sort of form of redundancy package or anything like that, from what we can gather. Which
these hard-working people.
Exactly. I mean, one of the things, like as were mentioned in the demo podcast, till we got this one up, was that Game and Game Station were one of those sort of shops that you could just walk into for a quick browse. They would obviously come up, you ask if they could help, you just turn on and say, "No, I'm just having a look," and they would go, "Yep, no problem." And 9 times out of 10, you would spot a bargain in there, and you would walk out with a game. The other thing is, though, as you mentioned, Kyle, last time, was about the sort of help that you could get from them.
Above and beyond the Call of Duty, there, honestly, if you're looking for pre-release dates or anything, they'll be more than willing to help you. But now I believe we're having to rely on Blockbuster. Well, I am anyway, to find out when the releases are.
Or you could just go to somewhere like play.com or shop2.net or any of the others. I'll have it on their site on the coming soon section. The only problem is you can never, with Blockbuster, I've found that you can never trust them with the release dates, on the basis that they only get them when they come down from head office, and if head office don't update them regularly enough, you're not going to find out. But the same could be said for anywhere. I've never found Blockbuster to be one of those ones that's more, what's the word, productive, so to speak, where that's concerned. But another thing that's coming up to light as well, in the light of video games, is in the eyes of the law and stuff like that. Apparently, UK teachers are calling for stringent legislation on violent video games. Because they feel they have a negative effects on the minds of young players. Apparently, it's going to be something mentioned in the teachers' union's annual conference in Manchester next week.
But let's just face it, these kids are playing games that are rated for 18s, and they're wondering why it might be damaging their little brains.
True. I mean,
they're giving them 18-rated games when they're only 12, dumbass.
Exactly. I mean, we can go around about the houses. It's who's to blame for these for kids playing these things? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like Call of Duty or Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat was one of the ones that kicked off, one of the more famous ones that kicked off the whole 18-rated game type of thing. I think the first game to ever get banned was the one called Berserker on the Spectrum. It's causing people to have fits.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
But as far as Mortal Kombat, the main person there that was a bit of a pillock and he's been disbarred now or something like that is what's he called? He's called Jack Thompson. That's the one. And obviously, people will, you do a search on Jack Thompson and you'll find any amount of people that are gamers turning around and complaining about him and calling him stupid idiot and stuff like that. And basically, what they're basically saying, these people are basically saying anyway, is the fact that kids are spending up,
Too long on it.
if they're up to there's a quote here that I mean, if they're up to 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock playing video games and then come to school the next day exhausted, not interacting with other children, that's not good preparation for school and not good preparation for life. Now, I'm not being funny. I used to get when I was living at my parents and when I was at school, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock used to be the curfew for video games. Albeit I wasn't allowed on them all the time, but that was obviously. But I still went out. I still went out, played football and wrestled and God knows what with my friends, and or wandered the streets as you tend to do when you're about 14 or 15. Mind you, I wasn't one of them ones that wore the stripy tracky bottoms and whatnot. I was always wearing jeans. I always swear by jeans. And I honestly believe, I used to get in, I used to go to bed at a reasonable time, i.e. before midnight. I always used to be absolutely knackered at school. The next day, I used to be absolutely knackered. And, my mates used to say I was stoned all the time because I actually looked that tired. I always apparently looked stoned, I even had a few teachers question us about it, but other than that, I've never touched drugs in my life. I'd rather sit and play a video game.
Or rather save up the money for the video game.
Well, that's true, yeah, but by the time you spend the money on a video game these days on the price of them, it's probably going to be the same about buying is it an ounce of pot or something? I'm not that clued up on them. It's not something that's really interested me, so I just choose to ignore it.
Yeah, I just know you can buy enough to have a couple of rollies out of, but it's pointless. You could buy a video game that'll last you 8 times longer.
Yeah, exactly. The new game last week was Resident Evil Raccoon City. I know you've been playing it, Kyle, haven't you? So it'd be interesting.
Absolutely brilliant game. Would highly recommend it. I know some people have noted that there's a couple of problems on it. Personally, I haven't noticed them. I don't know whether I've particularly given a crap if I have noticed it, because it's just such a good game in my opinion. But yeah, definitely want to look out for those of you that are lucky enough to get the pre-order copy. Have got 2 good guns on there as well. They've got the cowboy shotgun and another handgun I can't remember the name of, unfortunately. But yeah, it's worth getting the pre-order ones just for that. But unfortunately, pre-order is now not available because it's out.
That is true. that will be a good reason why it won't be there. So, what exactly did you like about Raccoon City? Apart from, when you say Resident Evil to me, it's
a whole genre. But this one's really giving it from a different perspective entirely. You are still back in Raccoon City, like we all know and we all love. The zombies are slow and stupid, and you're actually playing as Umbrella Corporation. So you're basically playing a bad guy. You've got a team with you consisting of 4 people. Well, you are one of the 4 people, so you have the others on you. You can have demolitions, you can have scouts, you can have whatever your little black heart desires. It's just the general gameplay is quite entertaining. I don't think it's the longest game in the world, but just entertainment factor, running around with your mates, killing a couple of zombies whilst you're going with various guns, highly recommended.
So, would you say it's a bit like maybe it's Left 4 Dead, or a cross between Left 4 Dead meets Ghost Recon? Or is there no strategy in it at all? You just run around shooting?
Yeah, basically, there's just no strategy at all.
Pretty much like most Capcom games.
You just get things pop up, right? Yeah, go to this location, complete this, bit, which is basically go meet this person or go do whatever it is, go to this door, and on your way there you'll get attacked by various zombies and creatures, and you just the only choice really in that game is ooh, shotgun or handgun. Yeah,
Or run like crap.
yeah.
So, if you were to turn around and say you had three things to say about it, what three things would you turn around and say that would be good for somebody to go out and buy the game?
It's entertaining. It's fun with your mates, which is the most important thing. It's fun with friends. If you're on Xbox, that is, I'm not sure whether you can have other people online with the PS3 or indeed any other system. I'm only playing it through the Xbox 360.
I think it'd be a bit stupid if they didn't do that with a PS3, to be honest with you.
It would be. It would be such a big following if they didn't do that with the PS3.
And the final one, if people to get people to go out and buy this game, what would you say that one would be?
It takes you back. It's history for that particular game. It takes you back.
Is it sort of set between Resident Evil 1 and 2, is it?
Yeah, it's set between the area of the first and the second one.
Right.
A lot better graphics. The zombies are nice and slow and stupid, as I've said, and it's got loads of good things going for it. It's
Right.
just,
So
it's
it's a bit like running around shooting zombie versions of Jack Thompson, Bill Gates, and any other stupid muppet that you can think of in video game history. Unfortunately, that'll be out as a PC mod.
However, I would say it's not like Dead Island. Don't think that it's going to be another one of them games. They'll go to this location and kill a load of zombies.
Yeah, that's what put me off.
Like Dead Island, you can make it a hell of a lot better. It's
bad points on it,
but it's just better.
So, what would your bad points on it be?
Well, as you've said, a couple of glitches have been noticed. I haven't noticed them, whether it's ignorance or stupidity, whichever takes place first.
Well, if it's a glitch, it might not happen every single time. Do you know what I mean? It might be one of those temporary, intermittent ones even.
Chances are it'll be fixed with a patch sooner or later anyway. So if it does exist, it won't soon.
Yep.
Bad points is it is a bit short. You will be playing it for approximately 5 hours, depending on your level of difficulty. You can do it on insane or veteran or really, really hard, depending on what you want to call it.
Do they have a really, really easy mode on it?
If they did, it wouldn't be much of a game because the zombies are going that slow anyway. I do think they will have an easy on it. I'm not sure I've seen easy on it, but I don't go on to the easy settings. I always play it at the harder levels. Yeah, it's not very long. It's got the glitches, as I've said, that will be fixed. Some of the gameplay itself, this is a bit of a spoiler alert, but you're having to come across somebody that is doing a bit of sniping at you, and then it plays a bit like Gears 3, just hide, shoot, that type of thing. But that's, it depends on your point of view whether you want to take that into consideration that it isn't bad or, some people might say it's not that bad a thing.
So basically, if you were to turn around and say avoid, rent, or buy, what would you say?
Rent it, see if you like it. If you love it, buy it.
And what would you recommend paying the most that you should pay for this game? What do you reckon it should be? Is it worth the £35-40 that you would pay for it brand new, or do you think it should be maybe it's a bit cheaper?
If you could get it for 30 quid, you won't get a rip-off.
Anything more than that's basically
Anything more than 30 quid then is a bit much, because considering the shortness of the game. But when I keep on saying it's short, it's not that short.
Yeah.
And the way it plays out makes it feel 3 times longer. 30 quid, ideal price to play for that game. Anything under, bargain.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. So there you have it then.
you want a
30
bit.
quid or under, you've got yourself a good bargain with it. Sticking with the horror genre though, I mean, what do you think of the horror games these days? Do you think that they are scary as what people put them out, or do you reckon we'll become a bit numb with them?
Oh no, they're just as scary as what the TV can become nowadays with the movie. Fear series. If you can pick the whole of the Fear series up, don't even hesitate. If you see it at a fiver, buy it then and there. Start playing the first one, then the second, then the third. Because if you skip to the second or the third, the storyboard will not make any sense at all.
I
No.
remember the second one coming out, and from what I remember on that, it was a case of you know you went round shooting a few people, and then you went down this corridor, and I think you finished the demo just after that corridor. And I always remember it vividly, walking down and then the apparition of that young last turn up, and then obviously the whole screen just fills up loads. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Obviously didn't have a freaking clue what was going on, but it scared the living crap out of me.
Yeah, you are walking down a corridor heading towards a surgery where your mother, as it turns out, is giving birth to you, and she dies during the operation. So, well, by the way, spoiler alert.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to re-edit that one, I think.
Yeah, sorry about that. And you're just walking in the corridor, then suddenly it's half full of blood. There's not zombies, but corpses pop up, and then it freezes for a fraction of a second, and you just see this ghostly apparition.
Yep,
Your
that's the
mother as
one.
a child, you know.
Mind you, sitting a few inches from the TV screen at the time I'm playing it is probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you say is the scariest game that you've ever actually played?
Oh, that'll be it for me. The
For you?
Fear series. It has to be. I mean, everyone that I've talked to, whether they're 32 or just plain 3, will be terrified of it.
I mean,
Any
you've got the likes of Dead Space, even Bioshock to some extent has been classed as a horror sort of film. Video game, I mean, they are supposed to be making a movie, or there's rumours of them trying to make movies of several things. And
I
obviously,
don't think Bioshock's scary at all. It's got little glimpses of Boo, with just something jumps out on you.
yeah.
That's Boo. But that's it. There's not
So,
really anything scary. Even though it's an 18, I don't think there's anything scary on it.
what about Silent Hill then? So what did you think of that one? I mean, I could never get into the. I mean, I really enjoyed the movie, but I could not get into the game back on the PlayStation. I just could not get into it. And
Silent Hill
I just
was
didn't have a clue where the hell I was supposed to be going. I was going around in a blooming circle.
I have to say, Silent Hill is 2 pairs of underpants because you're gonna crap one. The second one was absolutely terrifying. I was playing that. I think I was about 10 when that were out, or somewhere along those lines. Anyway, I'm not sure how old I was.
Well, more food you for playing at that age then, isn't it?
Yeah, that was absolutely stupid. But I picked it up for £3.
Well, mind you, saying that, going back, 10 years is it now that Doom 3 was out? The time I had a PC, had myself a nice 23-inch monitor, lovely surround sound, and curtains up in my flat that were like really thick, would block any form of light. And I'm sitting playing it at 2:30 in the morning, sitting 4 inches away from the screen with the surround sound and everything. And I'm not kidding you, I was sat on the edge of my seat. Every time a zombie came anywhere near us and slapped us, I panicked like hell because you had the torch, and then you're going, torch, then going. I'm running around, torch and gun, torch and gun. And I wouldn't be surprised if the keys had popped off. But I think a lot of people tend to go with the Resident Evil series as possibly the best horror series of games. I mean, obviously, we're only touching on a few of them here, but there's an awful lot more. I mean, like I say, there's Dead Space. You mentioned Dead Island before.
Yeah.
Couldn't get into that one. Mind you, when I was playing it, and
I wouldn't say it's a horror one, that one.
But Dead Island, well, it's anything to do with the undead or supernatural is actually classed as as being a horror. Um, and basically, you're around on a zombie island, basically.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they put some heavy metal music against it and called it Rob Zombie Island for the sequel. And I mean, if you remember, me, you, and Kenny were in a party chat over Xbox Live, and I'm just getting Dead Island, and I'm just panicking, pressing the buttons, and the character looked like he was grabbing hold of boobs and stuff, And Kenny turned around and said, "What game are you actually playing?" And I told him it was Dead Island. He thought it was some sort of Leisure Suite Larry or something.
Sweet Larry, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've got your Left 4 Dead as well. I remember everybody was going, while I was back at college a couple of years ago, everybody was going on about that, saying how, it's going to be the best game ever, and da-da-da-da. To be honest with you, it is a fantastic game on the condition that you've got a group of people that are actually a group of friends that are going to play the thing with you. Personally, I tried playing the blooming thing on my own, and it was just so annoying. I got bored, so Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, if you've got a group of people that, love zombie games, blowing the hell out of things, I would definitely recommend Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. As far as the Resident Evil series goes, though, for me, the best one out of the whole lot has got to be Resident Evil 2. Mind you, when that came out, that was way back when I was at school in 1997, I think it was, or 98. Sitting on the edge of my mate's bed, all of us crowded around a little portable, 14, 15-inch portable TV, and obviously that bit where you go into that room and there's a double-sided mirror. You pick something up, turn around, as you start walking out the room, one of those big lickers jumped through the window, through the mirror, and needless to say, all of us jumped backwards on the bed and hit the wall at the inside.
Yeah.
And it's not often you get I find they don't build the suspense up in games the way that they used to. It's all running around with as much ammo as you can possibly want, blow the crap out of everything to get to the end of the game. Although saying that, obviously The Walking Dead Season 2 is just finished on the TV, and the episode 1 of The Walking Dead video game is due to come out shortly on the Xbox Live Arcade as well as the PlayStation Network. And from what I can gather from that, it's more about surviving with, like a weapon, but it's got more sort of character building on it and things like that. And it goes towards the comics as well. So if you play the comics, you've read the comics, you'll really enjoy playing this. Or if you enjoy the TV show, you'll enjoy it as well. I don't know if you've heard anything about it at all, Kyle, or if you've been following it at all.
I followed the first one, but I actually managed to catch up on the second series. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. If it holds out to be anything like the TV series, could be cracking, could be absolutely worth every bit of money that it's printed on the disc for.
No, well, it's not coming out on disc. It's coming down on the download. I have a feeling that once they've done, I think it's coming out in 5 episodes or something. And I think once they've done the 5 episodes, I feel it probably will come out as a retail disc or something like that. And obviously, pretty much the bulk of all these, I don't think any of them have anything less than an 18 certificate on them, do they?
I'm not sure, mate.
Because I'm pretty sure that any of the horror games now they're coming out with the 18 certificate on them. It's which obviously stores aren't allowed to sell them to people.
It seems to be standard issue. Everything's an 18 if it's horror.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, it'd be the shock horror of it and the fact that it's full of gore, i.e., the amount of blood. But I mean, that would be just touching back on the subject we mentioned before when I mentioned about when we were doing the news section about the teachers on the violent video games and everything. It's not just violent video games that get blamed.
Old play bloody Dead Island, you need your head examining.
If you what, sorry?
If you're letting your 10-year-old son or daughter or whatever playing, and you give him Dead Island, you need your head examining. It's
But
just
that's the thing. I mean, the argument there is that obviously, who's to blame for it? Is it the game developers that's to blame for these people playing the kids playing the games? Is it the stores for selling it? Or
I think it's not the game, producers at all. They're just coming out with really good products. Well,
yeah. I mean,
I
personally,
think,
I think it should be down to the actual parents. I mean, being a parent myself, I would never let my little 3-year-old, I mean, like I said, he can complete Sonic 1, first 2 levels of Sonic 1 on the Mega Drive, which I still have. I've got a SNES as well. And he can complete that, but then he gets bored. Do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't dream of giving him something like Grand Theft Auto or Assassin's Creed or anything like that.
no,
Let alone something
it's,
like Mortal
it's just
Kombat.
common sense, mate. If it's just common sense. You
But
are
at the
parent,
same
you
time, though, at the same time, though, Gary, the other thing is, what happens if you've got somebody who, say, for example, is 17, who is really wanting to play Mortal Kombat? I mean, Jesus, when Mortal Kombat 1 came out, I was actually playing that on the Mega Drive, when that first came out. I mean, yeah, fair enough, I was only 13. But at the time, my parents deemed it was perfectly fine because, because of the censorship back then, the blood was taken out. Mind you, all you had to do was put Abacab in on the Mega Drive on the title screen. It went bing, and you could play it with the blood. Obviously,
good old days.
you what?
The good old days when you could have something like that.
Well, that's the thing, the good old days. You used to get like little cheats and things like that. I mean, what was it? The one for Sonic the Hedgehog, the original one was up, down, left, right, start. No, it was up, down, left, right, A, B, C, start, and you got a level select. You type in Abacab and on the title screen of Mortal Kombat, and it would give it like a gong, and it would mean that you had the
You had full blood, guts, and gore.
the full blood and guts. Now, Mortal Kombat 2, it was in straight away, which was a year later. But where where games are concerned, I think it's more down to the mentality of some people. Because I mean, some people, for example, that are over the age of 18, they're able to go into the shops and buy these games. I still think they shouldn't be able to play them. Not to be discriminative to them or anything, but it's mentally, what sort of person are you mentally to be able to play this? I mean, perfectly honest, I could sit and play any video game or watch any sort of film and not really get scared because it's fantasy. It's something in front of me. The difference between a movie and a video game, though, is your actions being shown on screen, which is what a lot of people complain about, So that is part of the issue as well. As far as the age ratings on them, go, obviously it's down to the parents. If the parent buys it for, Call it, like as you mentioned before, Call of Duty, prime example to have screamy little kids on who love to use glitches and everything, and
It's galore,
do you know what I mean? It spoils it for everybody. And one way to look at it is age rating on video games is good because it gives you an idea. But I do think the parents should be the ones that, if their kid is underage and they're playing Grand Theft Auto and then they go out to the street with a knife or a gun, or, in San Andreas, you could walk around with a dildo and kill people with them. You know what I mean? And
that's still funny.
well, it is. Take the PlayStation controller, the PlayStation Move, like I mentioned before. It looks like a woman's pleasure toy. And if Nintendo and Sony got together and went into the female pleasure industry, all they have to do is use the PlayStation Motion and shove the N64 rumble pack in. If you put that added rumble or the added vibration, buy a rumble pack. It gives you twice the pleasure. I mean, Sony probably branded the, what would it be? The Sony PlayStation Pleasure. something daft like that. But
Something.
yeah, age rating on games are good, but I think it's more down to parents using their common sense. I mean, if it's got 18 on the front of the thing, they should find out more about it before letting their kid play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you watch an 18 rated film, would you let your kid watch who's 10-year-old watch an 18 rated film? I certainly wouldn't, unless I'd actually sat and watched that film first, made the decision whether or not it was suitable for a 15-year-old maybe, but not a 10, 11, 12-year-old, because it's 18 for a reason. I mean, geez, it takes you back, doesn't it?
It certainly does, mate.
Uh, I mean, do you remember any of the TV programs? Because obviously, lately there's been rumours of Games Master making a comeback. They used to have the old Patrick Moore. I don't know if you remember. I think it was Patrick Moore or something like that. The big, the astrology bloke. I don't know if you remember it at all, Kyle. Or if it
No.
was a little bit before your time. The astrology bloke who was the Games Master. Obviously, and each episode you had a couple of people come in, and they went home and they had a fight. Normally it was on the beat 'em up games, but occasionally you get on like the FIFA type of game or something like that. And they would get on there with their mate, and it would be like the best of three. And then if you won all three, you went home with the Games Master Golden Joystick. I mean, Dominic Simon was one of the guys that presented it, and the other one was that I can remember was Dexter Fletcher. Obviously, they were done in a sort of like power plant style environment, from what I remember. And you used to have people going, "Games Master, can you give me some cheats or tips for whatever?" And he would turn around and just say, about whatever the cheat is or whatever the tip would be, and you'd have a bit of video footage in the background, of what it is that he's telling them. But another one was Bad Influence. Not many people remember that one. And Violet Beauregard or something like that, or Berlin or something daft like that. I don't know, can't remember. Someone called Violet, and all I remember is she was called Violet. She had white hair, and obviously Andy Crane was the other guy, was the other host on it. And basically, all they used to do was just get, the average Joe, kid-wise, average Joe in there and playing the games, and they would ask them what they thought of the game. Because obviously games at that time were aimed at sort of like the 10 to 15-year-olds. Whereas now, obviously, the bulk of the games that are coming out are sort of what you would probably class as 18 plus, because the average age of a gamer is anywhere between 35 and 30.
Yeah.
Average age. So yeah, Bad Influence used to be another one, because the great thing was they used to do a game blast or something. A data blast, and it used to give you all. It used to scroll over 100 cheats up on the screen. You had to put in your VCR and then wind it back and play it on slow play just to get the cheat for it. And,
Yeah, freeze the screen and absolutely wreck your VHS,
That's the one. For those that don't know what a VHS looks like, it's an extremely. It looks like a brick compared to a DVD. Or if you forgot what they look like. But yeah, I mean, there's so there's talk of another Games Master TV series getting made, so that should be interesting. Other than that, there's not an awful lot I can think of really. I know you want to talk about sort of the gaming headsets. I mean, I've got a Turtle Beach one on my head at the moment, and it's the EarForce X1s, which you can't get anymore. And they've just got the stereo surrounding, and they're the ones that actually press against your head. The newer versions, they just sit comfortably on your head. So when we finish this broadcast, I think my headset will be coming off, and the fresh air will be going to my ears.
Yeah, my head's getting hot as well because I'm wearing a. I'm
You're
not
not
actually
supposed to put
sure.
a hat on your head, when you've got a headset on.
Oh, what you say?
You're not supposed to put a hat on your head when you've got your headset on.
I know. But yeah, onto gaming headsets. Triton is now coming out with a series, the Detonator, Devastator, and Warhead series. The Detonator is the cheapest one, they're wired, but the other two, the Devastator and the Warhead, are finally completely wireless for the Xbox 360. Now they are unique to the Xbox 360, plus they are licensed by Mad Catz and Microsoft as well. So you get best of all three worlds there. But they are just for the Xbox 360 and they are completely wireless. The Devastator and the Warhead. So no need to plug it into your controller, no need to do anything. Absolutely brilliant set, and I'm looking forward to them coming out soon. I believe it's either April or May even. It could be May, I believe.
On Triton or Tritaton or whatever the heck they're calling themselves, I think they are Triton. Aren't they supposed to be now Microsoft's official
Yep, they are.
guys that make the headsets?
Yeah, these are 100% official as well with the Microsoft and with Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, the Turtle Beach one that I've got, obviously, Turtle Beach seem to be pretty well known, and a lot of people tend to use them. There's different variations on them as well. I mean, I've got a wired one, which is only about £50.
Well,
I think
for Xbox, there was the X41s, I believe. For the Xbox,
yeah, the 41s are basically what I've got, but it's the next one. It's the newer model of it. You know, basically, I can't remember the names of them now, but there's one a set for £50. Then there was the next one was like 120, which was I think it was just a wireless one with stereo surrounding, and then you had the more expensive one of about 180 quid, which was wireless with 5.1 surrounding them, which were compatible both with PC, Macs, your Xbox 360 and your PlayStation. You noticed there was no mention of the
Wii. Unfortunately, I don't think they've got the technology yet to put it into the Wii. Don't get me wrong, with a couple of USB cables and wired up to your TV, I reckon you can actually play the Wii through a couple of gaming headsets. I'm not sure.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what the Wii U comes out. I mean, basically, Wii U is basically I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say about it? You know, you look at it and you think, well, we've got that. It's just slightly better than an Xbox or the Xbox or the PlayStation. Do you know what I mean? And you sit there thinking, interesting concept, but
white brick sat next to my TV now. Wonderful.
that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people bought it because my parents use the Wii Fit. That's it. Do you know what I mean?
I have to say it's a good one for older generations as well as young ones.
Yeah, but you like
the older generations really, and Zumba and all sorts has come out.
Have you not seen the ones that have come up for the Xbox though? I mean, you've got the UFC trainer, which absolutely kills you. You've got the EA Sports one, you've got the Ubisoft one, and then you've got all these like Dance Central, Just Dance, and all these other Zumba things, and Mel B. Get fit with Mel B. You know, I mean, the only reason to probably get that is if it's video footage, not if it's a CG footage. If you fancy a bit of Mel B and you think she's a bit of alright, you know what I mean? I mean, I can guarantee you, if they turned around and said, "Get fit with a porn star," that game would go flying off the shelves. You know.
Well, you would buy that game just to watch her wiggle, wouldn't you? You know.
Well, not Mel B, you know, but I'm not Mel B fan. But yeah,
the people that are. Yeah.
But that. But news I've just found regarding PlayStation 4. Since we're going on about technology and stuff. Kotaku obviously is a well-renowned website come magazine, and according to their source, the next PlayStation console is codenamed Orbis, is going to be launched in 2013 holiday season, which would put it back end of next year. Since we're in 2012 now, that's if the end of the world doesn't happen. And apparently it's going to include an AMD 64 chip and AMD Southern Island GPU. A source told Kotaku that select developers already have dev kits at the beginning of the year, and revised kits arrived around the time of the game's developers conference earlier this month. And further to what we're seeing, it will not feature backwards compatibility with PS3 games, and will incorporate some sort of used games restriction. Apparently, once a consumer inserts a Blu-ray disc into Orbis, it will be tied to a PlayStation Network account and can no longer be shared. So bang goes all the rental companies. The data can be installed onto the system and flagged as downloaded from the PSN, from the PlayStation Network, so it can be re-downloaded for future use. Sources are unclear as how the disc functions, though, following this. Though one possibility is the disc can allow customers to access trial content before purchasing the full game on the console. Why the hell you would do that if you've already gone out to the shop and purchased the full game in the first place, I've got no idea. Obviously, IGN have tried to contact Sony, but they've got the same standoff point as Microsoft. We don't comment on rumours. So, it's a bit of a nightmare on that. But other than that, there's not an awful lot really going on with it. Everybody really is turning around and going, oh, no, we're not going to give anything. And I bet you, come E3 this year, you'll have the Wii U getting information being released, and it'll be released and in the shops by September and October time. What do you reckon?
I've not got a clue, mate, about the Wii's next generation at all.
Well, they announced it at last year's E3, and they announced that it was going to be released in 2012. My thoughts are it's going to get released over here. It might not even be released over here till next year. It'll be released in the Japanese market at the beginning of the year.
It will definitely be going to Japan before it gets to anywhere else.
And then obviously, the next the two big things from E3 I'm waiting for is, and I reckon these are going to be one of the worst kept secrets, is the Microsoft's Durango, which is the code name for the 720 Xbox or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah,
And then obviously, as I just read out there, the Orbis, which is going to be PlayStation 4.
Why
Now,
did you put it down as PlayStation 4 instead of coming up with a ridiculous name?
because it does, it's like why do some films have a name like that's not to do with the film at all? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And then obviously it comes out, it's to throw people off, because it's just it'd be like a prototype. I mean, Jesus, what Microsoft used to do was basically send them an iMac and and literally tell companies and say, look, there's an iMac, that's roughly what the specs are going to be like on the Xbox. Build games towards that.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? And they used to just connect the USB key controller to it, and Bob would be your uncle. Do you know what I mean? It would be pretty good, So, well, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think we've had any, we can't turn on and just say, oh, this is what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean?
It's all speculation. Really.
Everything's all speculation, exactly. I mean, what I would love to see from E3 this year is the Wii U be announced properly, with a decent lineup of games and price tag, and it be released worldwide. The information about the next PlayStation and the next Xbox, I have heard a rumour that there could be something coming out next year for the Xbox, but it'll not be the successor to 360. It'll be like a Kinect-based set-top TV box without the CD drive, the DVD drive in it. Where you download the games off the internet.
Which could be awful, but
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the latest rumor with the Xbox 360 successor is that they're going to do away with CD, the hard media, but they can't do away. If they did that, they would kill the console straight away, because gamers like myself like to go to the shop and have some form of hard hard copy of it type of thing,
Yeah.
the CD.
Well, the other thing that I have noticed is whenever it is DLC or downloadable content, whatever you want to call it, always overpriced. It will always be overcharged.
Yeah,
I had a look on um, Xbox's online store,
yeah, the games
basically.
on demand.
Yeah, games on demand. I've also had a look on the PS3 not that long ago. Call of Duty 4, which is one I'm only just going through again. That's been £20 on the Xbox 360, and it's not that far off on the PS3. £20 for a game you can pick up second hand for about a fiver. You know,
That is stupid. I mean,
it's stupid. It's
if
always going to be overpriced.
well,
So,
what gets me is you've got these people that are, that what's the word I'm looking for here? You get these people that actually, um, turn around and actually pay for them. I fancy this game, I'll pay the £20. When in actual fact, if they wait until the next day, they could pick the game up for about £15 cheaper. I mean, Jesus, I think Gears of War 2 was on there for £20, and you can pick the thing up for a tenner. Or brand new, and even cheaper than that if you pick it up pre-owned.
that latest Assassin's Creed Revelations,
It should not have been released.
I could have had a half-hour rant about that subject then and there, but I'm just biting my tongue now, trying to resist telling you how crap it was.
Try not to spray the screen.
Yeah. But that came out. Well, I've forgotten what release date it came out, but literally,
Last year.
yep, last year. But the next day after that, it dropped down dramatically. You could pick it up at least £20 cheaper.
Well,
At
that's the thing.
least
I mean,
£20 cheaper.
that's where the problem is, though. I mean, how do you justify charging £40 for a game that's been out for a year? It's like downloadable content. There's still downloadable content online, like the Call of Duty map packs, where you get 4 maps, pay 1,200 Microsoft points for them, and then you like Black Ops is a prime example. Every map pack is still 1,200 Microsoft points. You would have thought, now by now, with Modern Warfare 3 being out, that they would probably have dropped them down to 800 Microsoft points you know, per map pack, or made it so that it's
I recently worked it out. If you were
it's
going
about
to
40
buy
quid.
Black Ops, it's £40 thereabouts to buy all the DLC for it. All of them. 40 quid. The game itself, I've only just picked up for about a tenner. It's shocking. I could have bought the game 4 times over for the sake of one, for the sake of all 4 DLC.
Yep,
Shockingly overcharged.
exactly. But it's how do they determine? It's how do you determine how to charge for it? Do you know what I mean? That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
And,
I can understand that.
I believe you have release dates of what's coming out on Friday.
Yeah, more than that.
What is Friday's date anyway?
I ain't got a clue, mate.
It's the 30th.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday is the 1st of April.
Right,
So everybody don your jester hat and pull on a joke.
Yep. Right. What is coming out now?
On Friday,
Call of Duty fans will be pleased to know that there's Call of Duty 2012 out on the 2nd of November. FIFA 13 for football fans, that's out on the 28th of September as well. Assassin's Creed 3. That's debatable whether you want to buy that. I'll just say that then and there. But anyway, that's out on the 31st of October. Oh, I could cry.
Go on, have a
3rd
song.
of April is Connect Star Wars. That's a 360 exclusive. So Xbox owners out there, start rubbing your hands together for the Star Wars and start making the lightsaber sounds, because you know you're going to.
I'm going to refuse to make a form of comment there.
Yeah, I know. It goes very dirty very quickly.
Yeah, it could do.
Salvation, I think that's how you say it anyway. That's out on the 13th of April. Another Xbox 360 exclusive, Witcher 2 Assassin of Kings. That's out on the 17th of April. Prototype 2 on the 24th of April. You have Sniper Elite V2, I'm guessing that's version 2. That's out on the 4th of May. Metal Gear Rising Revenge, I think it is, something along those lines. 11th of May. Again on 11th of May is Dirt Showdown. So that's I think Dirt is a racing game. It's been that long since I've played a racing game, I'm forgetting what Dirt is. But I do
Yeah,
believe that is a
Dirt
rally
is a racing game. Very dirty one.
Yeah, apparently. Haha. Ghost Recon Future Soldier. I'm looking forward to this one because it takes into account the Xbox's Kinect, so you can visualize and put your hands on the gun through the screen, if that's sort of.
Oh, I have one. It looked like a complete numpty trying to flash it, grab hold of someone's breasts.
Yeah, you can make yourself look like a complete moron doing that.
Yeah.
But on the, it's safe to say on the PC or the PS3 you won't have that feature, unfortunately, but it still will be a cracking game with good graphics, I imagine. Dragon's Dogma, I'm looking forward to that one. That's also out on the 25th of May, same as Ghost Recon. Looking forward to Dragon's Dogma. Spec Ops: The Line. I've heard good and bad things about it. I think it looks a bit dodgy for my liking, but you will be the deciding factor yourself. But yes, that's out on the 9th of June. Lollipop Chainsaw.
That looks good.
Well, I haven't seen any clips of it, but that's out on the 29th of June. Same again, 29th of June is Darksiders 2. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that's on my already pre-order list.
Yeah. The fan of the Metro series, Last Light. That's out on 3rd of August. Outstanding. Max Payne 3 for people that have been following the Max Payne series of games, not only on games but on the movies as well now. They've branched out onto 18th of May for those happy people. 26th of October, Grand Theft Auto 5, I believe. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto, brilliant game, love it. Halo 4, Xbox 360 exclusive. Well, it has to be because it's Halo.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a date. All it says is 2012. So
yeah, I have a feeling it's probably going to come out in an event in about October, I think, due to avoid the Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's going to be near Grand Theft Auto because that's what it's wrote down on this piece of paper as. So it's I reckon it's going to be out on October, sometime near the Grand Theft Auto 5 release. 3rd of August again is I can't even pronounce that. I'll just move on because I can't even bloody pronounce it. Sorry about that, people. 4th of September, Fable: The Journey. That's Kinect, Xbox 360 exclusive. So if you're a big fan of the Fable series, there's another one coming out on the 4th of September. One that's already on my pre-order list, Far Cry 3, 7th of September, can't wait for that one. Borderlands 2 is on the 21st of September. Brilliant, absolutely looking forward to that one. And my personal favourite, if you're ever going to get an exploration game, buy Tomb Raider. And that's exactly what's coming out, the
Back into the
2012, 2013, something like that version of Tomb Raider out on the 5th of October.
That's plenty of games to look forward to coming out.
I'm not. There's a few more. There's BioShock Infinite. So fan of the BioShock series, that comes out on the 19th of October.
That's provided them to put any of the games back, of course.
Oh well, yeah. On the 23rd of October is finally we have another Medal of Honor. That's Warfighter. I haven't seen any clips of it. It could be far in the future. So,
Warfighter, no, it's just a follow-on from Tier 1 or whatever it was called.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
It's just called Medal of Honor.
yeah,
So yeah, yeah,
Warfighter is the sequel to that one, basically.
yeah.
I don't know why they keep going off for
Like,
sequels and everything, but never mind.
if it's anything like the Medal of Honor, then cracking game. So if it takes after that, I will be buying it. Hopefully, it'll do a Tier 1 edition for those of you that enjoy having a couple of extra goodies. Resident Evil 6 is out on the 20th of November, and that's as far as my dates go to. But yeah, Resident Evil 6. Hopefully, it's not as bad as Resident Evil 5, but that's debatable on whether you like Resident Evil 5 or not.
That is true. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Resident Evil series. I think 2 was probably the best for me, as I mentioned before. So I'm not going to push for any more than that one, to be honest with you. To be honest, it's not my sort of game now. Mine, I prefer something you can pick up and play without having to not forget where you're going. But yeah, I mean, games that are due out in the next week between March 30th, which is obviously tomorrow, and the 5th of March, we've got a few things apparently on according to Play.com. The Connect Star Wars, where you get the pre-order bonus of the Storm Rancor download, is due for release on the 3rd of April, alongside Devil May Cry. Excuse me. Along with the Devil May Cry hard drive collection, the HD collection, which is out on the 360 and the PS3. Obviously, the limited edition 320 gig 360 consoles, obviously, which is Star Wars Connect themed limited edition, or whatever you want to call the thing. Basically, it looks like R2D2. You press a button and it goes blip 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 blip. I mean, I've got the Halo Reach one, so I was a bit disappointed that you don't get a dashboard theme specifically for the console. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bit nah.
You've got the Silent Hill HD collection as well, coming out on the 30th of March, which is coming out on the 360 and the PS3. Also on the same date for both the 360 and PS3, you have the Silent Hill Downpour. So basically, you can play through pretty much the whole Silent Hill series.
The second one, you need another pair of underwear.
I wouldn't know, mate. I've never played through it. March 30th, you've got the Capcom Digital Collection. I have no idea what. Let's have a look, see what is in that. You have Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, Final Fight Double Impact, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, 1942 Joint Strike, Bionic Commando Rearmed 2, Flock, Rocketmen Axis of Evil, Wolf of the Battlefield Commando 3. That's all in the Capcom Digital Collection. Warriors Uruchi 3 is out on the 360. On the that's coming out on the 6th. It's not coming out on the 5th. I misread that one. Ridge Racer Unbound Limited Edition. That's due for release on the 30th of March on the PlayStation 3. On the DS, you have on the 30th coming out the Treasures of Montezuma 2, which you can pick up for about £18 off Play.com or whatever else has got it as. Rhythm Thief and Emperor's Treasure 3DS and the DS is due for release on the 5th of April. Here's one that'll probably take you back. Top Gun. It's Top Gun Hardlock on the Xbox 360. Due for release on the 5th of April as well. Captain Morgani and the Golden Turtle on the PlayStation 3 is released on the 30th of March. And there's obviously a few more. The Top Gun game on PlayStation 3. 30th March also you have the Total War Collection, which you can pick up for £18 on the PC. My word, there's an Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwreck game coming out on the Wii. I'm still surprised they're making Wii games, to be honest with you. Due out on the 5th of April.
I won't be buying that one myself.
Oh, I've got it pre-ordered.
I
Only joking. But yeah, I mean, there's a few more games coming out. For those that have a PC that wanted to play Rayman Origins, that's due out on the 30th of March. The Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwreck's also coming out on the DS and the 360. No doubt it'll be coming on the PS3. All coming out on the 5th of April. Let's have a look. What else do we have coming out that could be of any use to anybody? Nothing that I can say of in that in the next week. So there you have it. That's been the first episode of The Gamer Man. I'm Mike,
I'm Firestorm.
and that's the end. Hope to see you next week. On Thursday next week at around about 8:30 at night, which would be 8:30 Greenwich Mean Time on the 5th of April.